So we're going to be talking about trigonometry today as well. So what we did yesterday was we solved question like this. Sine x equals, let's say, half. And you were given a domain. Let's say x is between 0 and 720. We solved questions like this yesterday. Usme we used that first we used to find the absolute angle, then we sketched the absolute angle in two of the four quadrants, and then we would get our two answers, and then we would keep adding or subtracting 360 degrees to that answer till we got all our answer within the given domain 0 to 720. Today we'll go one step beyond this and solve questions like this. Instead of sine x, now it is sine 2x equals half. However, the domain is similar to what we have yesterday. This is the domain. So now there's going to be a problem. The problem is that here the input function is 2x, but here it is x. There's a difference between these two. The inner argument of sine is 2x, but the range is given, or the domain is the better word. The domain is given for x. That is not 2x. अगर यहाँ पे भी 2x होता ना तो we wouldn't have had any issues. हम इस question को solve करना शुरू कर देते. But for now it's not 2x, and it's very, very important that this inner argument and this inner argument, both of these need to be exactly identical for you to be able to start solving it. So now what do? You take help of substitution here. You say that let's change this into y. So you're going to say let 2x equals y. So you get sine y equals half. Now what we have to do, we have to convert this into y as well. So we can say that if 2x is equals to y, then x equals y upon 2. And now we're going to write this like this. Instead of x, you're going to write y upon 2. And the final thing left to do is move 2 to the other side. So when 2 goes here, it becomes 0. And when 2 goes here, it becomes 720. So now that problem is fixed. The inner argument here is y, and the inner argument here is y. Masla khatam. Again, do you have any questions so far? Substitution use करके हमने 2x को भी y बना दिया, and that on the right hand side the domain is also now in terms of y. Now this becomes exactly like the cases we discussed yesterday. बिल्कुल वही question बन गया. So let's start solving it. First thing we do is find the absolute angle. So sine alpha equals half, giving us alpha equals 30 degrees if we're in degrees. Sketch. Sine is positive half, and sine is positive in the first quadrant. So you have a 30 here, and in the second quadrant, so you have a 30 here. So one of the answers is this 30, and the other answer is 150. So two answers for y are 30 and 150. However, you have to find all the answers in this domain. Y is between 0 to 720. So that means we need to keep adding 360 to 30 and 360 to 150 till we get all the answers in the given domain. So 30 plus 360 is 390. 150 plus 360 is 510. Can we add 360 to 510? No, we can't, because it becomes 870, which is bigger than 720. However, I think we can add 360 to 390. No, we can't, because that becomes 750. Yeah, we can't. So these are the four answers of y. However, The original question was in terms of x. So now we need 4 answers of x, and we can get that because we know the relationship between x and y. What's the relationship between x and y? To find x, you have to half the y's. यहाँ देखो, इधर से हमें पता चलता. So now we have 4 values of x as well. So x is going to be half of 30 is 15. Or x is going to be half of 390 क्या होगा? 390 divided by 2, 195. Similarly, half of 150 is going to be 75. And half of 510 is going to be what? 510 divided by 2 is 255. Alright, so these are the 4 answers of the equation. 15, 195, 75, and 255. Alright, I'm going to give you another question like this. Any questions so far? Abu Bakr, Ryan, Dua.
No, miss.
No.
Next question is cos 2x minus 70 equals 0.5, where x is between 0 to 360. So this is going to be a problem for us because here it's x, but here it's not x, it is 2x minus 70. So this has to be fixed first using substitution. So you start with let y equals 2x minus 70. So this becomes cos y equals 0.5. Next thing you need to do is write x in terms of y. So when you write x in terms of y, you get x would be y plus 70 upon 2. Right from here, make x the subject, so that's going to be y plus 70 upon 2. So I'm going to replace this x with y plus 70 upon 2. Now, in case of an inequality like this, the 2 goes to both the sides and get multiplied. So we have 0 here and we have 720 here. And in between we have y plus 70. Now again, 70 goes to both the sides and gets subtracted. So we have minus 70 here and we have what, 650 here. So now y should be between minus 70 and 650, and cos y is equals to 0.5. Now we're good to go. This is also in terms of y, and this is also in terms of y. So now we have significantly simplified the question, and we know how to handle this from yesterday's lesson. Start with finding alpha. Cos alpha equals 0.5. Which means when you take cos inverse of alpha, you get 60 degrees. Cos is 0.5, that is a positive value, so it gets plotted in the first quadrant, add sugar to coffee, and the fourth quadrant. Okay. So the positive answers that I'm getting are 60 and 300. So I'm getting y equals 60, y equals 300. Okay. Now start adding and subtracting 360 to all of these. So I'm going to subtract 360 from 60 first. So 60 minus 360 is minus 300. That is clearly not in the domain. Now I'm going to subtract 360 from 300. So 300 minus 360 is minus 60. So that would be minus 60, which is in the domain. So one of the answers for y is 300, another one is minus 60. Now I'm again going I'm now again going to go back to 300 and now I'm going to add 360 to that. 300 plus 360 is 660, which is not in the domain. So no, I can't write that as my answer. Now I'm going to add 360 to 60. 60 plus 360 is 420, which is in the domain. Add another 360 to it, 780 out of the domain. So the four answers I'm getting are minus 60, 60, 300, and 420. Let me just check that. Yes. But the question was in terms of x, so your four answers should be in terms of x as well. And lucky for us, we have already established a relationship that converts y into x. So to y, you have to add 70 and then divide that answer with 2. So let's do that. You use this, and then the result is written here. Let's write the four values of x. To your y, add 70 and then divide by 2. 60 plus 70 divided by 2 is 65. 420 plus 70 divided by 2 is 245. 300 plus 70 divided by 2 is 185. Minus 60 plus 70 divided by 2 is 5. So let me check the answers. 65, 5, 245, and 185. Yes, these are the final four answers within the given domain, which was 0 to 360 degrees. So all our answers are between 0 to 360 degrees. All right. समझ आया?
जी.
Okay. Now I'm going to slightly change the question to find two smallest positive values of theta when sine 2 theta plus 60 is equals to 0.3584. So the question is that you have to find two answers of theta, but both of them need to be positive answers. You're not given a domain in this question. Theta की two values निकालनी है, both of them need to be positive, and you have to give the two smallest possible answers. Not any answer greater than that. So now how do we handle such questions? What is the domain of theta that we know here? Theta is going to be some positive value, right? That is the condition given to us, that you have to find the two smallest positive values. So you must know on your own that the domain of theta is greater than the domain. All right. And now that gives rise to a problem that the argument inside sine is 2 theta plus 60, but the domain is theta greater than 0. That has to be fixed using substitution. Let y equals 2 theta plus 60. So sine y equals 0.3584. Now, the inequality needs to be in form of y as well. So I'm going to replace theta. I'm going to make theta the subject there. Theta would be y minus 60 upon 2. So replace 60 with this. So we get y minus 60 is greater than 0 and y is greater than 60. So you will be finding two values of theta or two values of y that would be greater than 60. So whichever are the two smallest values of y bigger than 60, those would be your two answers of y, and then you change y into theta. So let's find alpha here. Sine alpha equals 0.3584. Sine inverse answer. $21.00196. It's fine to leave it at one decimal place at this spot, so it's going to be 21.0. Sketch it. In the first quadrant, all students take calculus or add sugar to coffee. So you have 21 here and 21 here. So I'm getting two values of y here. One of them is 21 and the other one is 180 minus 21, which is 159. Now, can't use 21 because the domain is y is greater than 60. 21 to use nahi hoga, but 21 plus 360 use ho jayega. That is going to be 381. So the two possible values, smallest possible values of y are 159 and 381. Now from these y, get thetas using this relationship that you've already established, that from y, subtract 60 and then divide the answer with 2. So 159 minus 60 divided by 2 is giving me 24.8 after rounding, but we don't answer again. Let me recheck. 159 minus 60 divided by 2. Yes, it is correct. So 49.5. So from here we get x equals 49.5 by using this relationship. X nahi hai, theta. And for the other one, I'm getting 381 minus 60 divided by 2, which is 160.5, which is also. So these are the two smallest possible values of theta. Acha. I'm going to give you another question that you're going to do on your own, which is this. Sine 30 minus theta equals 0.5, where, acha, same question. Find two smallest possible values of theta which are positive as well. So you have to find two smallest possible.
Miss, can you please go back to the previous question for just a second? I just missed one line of it.
There you go. ले लो screenshot. पता है मुझे क्या कर रहे
नहीं, मिस मैंने लिख
हो. Okay.
So, answer.
ठीक है, हो गया?
जी मिस.
Okay. Acha, the question is the same. Find two smallest positive values of theta when sine 30 minus theta is equals to 0.5. Now, can you try this on your own? Okay. So you start with substitution. X is equals to 30 minus theta. So sine x is equals to 0.5. And find alpha, which is 30 degree. Also, you have to fix the domain, which was originally 30. Theta is greater than 0. This has to be written in terms of x. So we've done a couple of steps and we got x is less than 30. So your alpha came out to be 30 So sign is positive in the first quadrant, in the second quadrant. So we're getting x equals 30 and x equals 150. However, both of these are not less than 30. So what we'll do, we'll subtract 360 from both of these to get the previous negative solutions. So we get what? We get x equals minus 330 and we get x is equals to what is 150 minus 360, it's minus 210. ये आया आप लोगों का for x. These
नहीं
are
मिस
the smallest possible values of x that you're getting. But the question was in terms of theta, so you need to give the corresponding values of theta. Now convert these into theta using this. Theta is 30 minus x. So it's going to be theta is equals to
360
हाँ डबल माइनस से प्लस हो गया एक आंसर आ गया 360 and again 30
240
minus minus 210 which is 240. So these would be your two smallest possible positive values of theta. एक और करोगे which is देखने तो हमने कौन कौन से कराए okay let's do this. Tan 90 minus theta that's 90 minus theta equals minus 3. Okay. Solve this. Give me the two smallest positive values of theta that satisfy this equation. Okay. So theta is greater than 0 because it's positive. So let y equals 90 minus theta. So tan y equals minus 3. Now I have to write the domain in terms of y as well. So from here I know that theta is 90 minus y. So I'm replacing this theta with 90 minus y greater than 0. Move minus y towards the right. So it is y less than 90. Let me just rewrite this to give more to get more clarity on the inequality. Y is less than 90. So find alpha first. Tan alpha. Alpha is absolute angle for which you must take a positive value, even if the question says negative. So tan inverse 3 is 71.6 after rounding. 71.6. Tan is negative in add sugar to and coffee in the second quadrant and the third quadrant, fourth quadrant, sorry. So we have a 71.6 here and a 71.6 here. So the two angles would be this angle and this angle. What are we getting?
288.4
So one of these is 288.4. What about the other one?
71.6
No, it's 180 minus 70.6. 108.4. Okay. Are these less than 90? No, they're not. We should get two smallest value of y which are less than 90. So subtract 180 from these because the period of tan is 180. So when you subtract 180 from here, you get minus 71.6 after rounding. And when you subtract 180 from here, 288.4 minus 180, it is 108.4, which is still not smaller than minus I minus k, yes, it's still not smaller than 90. So let's subtract once again. फिर से 180 subtract किया minus 180. That gives us minus 71.6. So we're getting two answers, same answers, but we need another one. So subtract 180 one more time. ताकि we get two different answers. Sorry. Minus 180, which is minus 251.6. So these are the two values of y that I'm getting. So I'm getting y equals minus 71.6 and y equals minus 251.6. The question is in terms of x. So we need to give two corresponding values of x. You already know the conversion between, no, sorry, the question is in terms of theta, my bad. Theta here and theta here. So the relationship between theta and y is here. Written here, you have to do 90 minus y. So let's do that. 90 minus 71.6. So 90 plus 71.6 is 161.6. And again, 90 plus 251.6 is 341.6. These are the two smallest possible positive values of theta for the given equation. Okay, that's all from my end today. I'll see you next on Monday, inshallah. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Okay.
Allah Hafiz.